Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Boris Johnson is yesterday's man, and it hasn't come a day too soon. His policies have been an unmitigated disaster. From listening too strongly to the communists in the Sage Committee, who imposed lockdowns and draconian measures that did not need to be done, to then, and this is it, the coup de grace, listening to Greta Thunberg and going, yay, Greta, you're clever, you're wise, you're the new Jesus, we're going to follow you. Instead of what he should have done, which was say, very well done, pat her on the head and sending her on her way. But no, he listened and imposed mad laws. Green futures, zero carbon. He's destroying us. We have now got the highest energy prices in history. We have got a future that is going to be mass unemployed, closures, company closures, communities ripped apart, families destroyed. We have got no energy independence anymore. We're going to have a very long cold winter. There'll be blackouts. People will die. But hey, not to worry. It will please Greta in her little world of make-believe. Johnson needs to go, and he needs to take his policies with him. This island is an island of coal in a sea and bubble of gas. We should not be cold. We should not be having high energy prices. But the Greens have forced this. Oh, don't dig any more coal. Don't build this. Don't do that. Don't frack for gas. Don't build nuclear power stations. No, they want us to freeze to death. No way, Jose. We need to reverse these laws, open up the coal mines, get cheap energy again, and save people's lives and save people's jobs. They need to do it, and they need to do it quickly. But Johnson, who's still there, and he should have been removed, but he's still there. And he's saying, no, we've got to keep online. We've got to keep up with my mad, moronic ideas. And he's begging on bended knee for his successors to continue this madness. Let's look at this article and pray to God it doesn't happen. So, Boris Johnson to beg UK to keep pushing net zero green madness agenda despite energy crisis. Boris Johnson is reportedly set to beg that the future leadership of Britain keep pushing his net zero green agenda, despite the fact that the country faces a crippling energy crisis. Well, yeah, this comes from Carrie, when she was doing a lot of begging, apparently. She was always on her knees in his office, or so the rumour goes. Britain should keep pushing its costly net zero, despite the now crippling energy crisis, Boris Johnson is to say next week, in the hopes that his successor PM continues with his climate-crazy green agenda. It's madness, and it's going to destroy this country. Having been unceremoniously forced to announce his resignation earlier in the year because they've all had enough of this madness, Johnson is now reportedly conscious of trying to secure a legacy before leaving office. You've already done that, mate. Apart from the stupid ideas, we look back and go, Johnson, what a moron. But then, you know, old Carrie on her knees, sucking the lollipop, yeah? It wasn't really a lollipop, was it, Boris? According to a report by The Telegraph, the outgoing PM is particularly desperate to see his successor continue his moronic push for more wind farms as well as more nuclear plants, and notes his desire to see the sale of new carbon-emitting cars to be banned from 2030. Not a chance. We need them. If you are living in the countryside, you need them. Boris is passionate about the energy strategy. Well, okay, if he's that concerned about the earth, then why is he having an unknown number of children? We believe it's somewhere 7 or 8 children. The biggest carbon footprint thing you can ever do for the planet is to have a child. Boris has had 7 of them, at least. Surely he is the last person to talk to anyone about the security of the planet and the ecological impact of our lives. I mean, let's face it, he isn't finished yet, is he? Because him and Carrie will be split in about, I don't know, a year. They'll be gone. He'll be on to his next one. Bonk out another one, Boris, you know. Who knows how many he's had? Probably could be in the 20s. Could be in the 20s. Anyway, Boris is not passionate about energy strategy, a source. Oh, no, wait, sorry, it says he is, but he's not. He's passionate about getting, you know, from Carrie. There is a desire to say something this week about how everything we have done has kept us much better positioned in the medium and long term. Really? It's going to be a long-term Christmas, isn't it? When you're sitting there freezing and then come January burying Nanny, yeah? Because your mad policies mean that you can either have, oh, I don't know, half a tin of beans or put the bar fire on for 20 minutes. All of the work in renewable energy doesn't work, by the way, will make sure that in the medium and long term we will be more self-reliant, and that will ease the cost for consumers. We are completely self-reliant. Do not believe the utter horseshit this man is saying. Britain has got at least 20,000 years worth of coal and at least 5,000 to 7,000 years worth of gas. In that time, we might have built enough nuclear reactors to not need coal. What do you know? What do you know? So we don't have any worries. So why are we paying money now when we have got so much energy available? While the government source appears to suggest that BJ, current green agenda, would be good for Britain in the long run, it won't be. There is a significant evidence that the UK's climate crazy obsession, not the UK's, no, the elites' climate crazy obsession, because 99% of the people on the ground going, I don't think we should be doing green policies. I think we should be having cheap electricity because I can't afford to feed my children this week because I've got to pay to keep them warm. Ask the people at the ground level whether they agree with green policies or with cheap energy. I think the different answer than the 1% elitists. The government has also been extremely reluctant to put significant investment into more traditional hydrocarbon fueled infrastructure because they'll be seen as mad and bad by the tiny proportion of Greens. Take all the environmentalists, put them up against the wall, and you know what comes next. And when there aren't any environmentalists, get on with having cheap electricity, and then we won't be burying people, and people will be able to afford to live. And in the meantime, we build nuclear reactors. And then we don't need any hydrocarbons. We've got 30 nuclear reactors. I think we need 36, don't we? Anyway, get 36 nuclear reactors built and we're good. Johnson himself has even reportedly been behind the decision to shelve extra gas electricity generation capacity in late 2021. How's that working out in Germany? While the government is currently aiming to close various carbon-emitting power stations in the hopes of lowering the country's carbon output. You can close this entire country down tomorrow. Close it down tomorrow, yeah? And then look at the carbon output of the world, and it'll have gone up by more than the whole of Britain in 3 weeks. And you know why? Because of two countries, China and India. We can do nothing. We make such a small dent that even if we closed down our entire country and all committed metaphorical Sapporo, yeah, it would make no blind difference at all to the world. So why should we? Why should Boris Johnson dictate what we do and cause us misery and poverty and destruction and death while he sits on his multi-million pound arse in a nice warm house laughing at us, and it makes no difference to the rest of the world? People like Johnson need to be taught a lesson. Anyway, meanwhile, the British public has largely been left to pay the cost, of course, of the UK lacking self-sufficiency in the sphere of fossil fuels, with around 1 in 4 adults in the country now expecting not to turn on their central heating over the winter during the surging cost of energy in the country. Do you know how much that's going to cost the country in terms of illness? Way more than the cost of actually just digging up some coal and turning on a power station. Johnson is a traitor. Johnson is killing his own people. Johnson is destroying this nation. Johnson needs to be tried, and we need to reverse this madness. Now, I've got no dog in this game, in this fight, because I'm sitting with my big fat solar roof, with my big battery system, and I tell you what else I've got. I've got a lifetime supply of coal and 2 diesel generators. There's no way I am going through winter, freezing and sitting in the dark. I'm lucky. There's people out there that are not, and they're going to be sitting in cold houses with elderly relatives or with young children, barely able to feed them and daring not to put the heater on. And that's what Johnson has done to this house, to this country. People's houses will be freezing cold, will be damp. People will get ill and people will die because of Johnson's obsession with the bullshit of a 16-year-old mental child. Johnson, get out of office now, take your mad, stupid ideas and fuck off. Whichever faceless nobody rises from the pack to replace Johnson must reverse his decisions, must open up the coal mines, must begin fracking, and must extend oil and gas exploration in the North Sea. The people of this country must have energy security for the next 100 years, and they use that 100 years to build 36 nuclear power stations. At the end of that, you can have as much carbon-free energy as you can swallow. It's the only way forward. And this madness that he has, this obsession, this mental obsession he has with carbon zero is impossible. It's actually impossible. It cannot be done. And it certainly can't be done with a man who keeps impregnating a whole series of women. Now, we need to castigate him and show him for what he is. He's a liar, a buffoon, a moron. And he must not be listened to. He's got everything wrong. Everything he could have done differently and done better. Every decision he made was the wrong decision. And this was wrong. And the sooner he goes, the better. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Please leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, stay warm this winter, and goodbye.